Welcome to the Ben Impact. In today's video, we're going to see if the AI or ChatGPT can give us an accurate number of calories to consume in a day, and if you give it a list of foods and a meal plan, if it can make it for us and see if it's a valuable resource to use. So ChatGPT is an AI language processing chatbot that is developed by OpenAI. The chatbot has a language-based model for human interaction and can perform essay compositions, writing email, creating inventive creative stories, and also generating programming code. The AI can provide answers in a quick and effective way and can assist users in any questions they have. But before we dive in, we need to take into consideration that nutrition is a very complicated issue. So you might want to consult your physician or a doctor or nutritionist in order to take care of your dietary needs. ChatGPT is still limited in its function because it is limited to word events up to 2021. It can give us biased information, and sometimes information they may not be that accurate. So take this with a grain of salt. So, can the AIs give us an accurate answer on the number of calories that we need to consume in a day? Yes and no. Let's find out. On the most basic level, we use calories to describe the amount of energy contained in foods. 1 calorie is the amount of energy required to heat up 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. To do so, for example, we use different measurements to evaluate our energy expenditure. And we have 2 measures. So the one is the BMR, or the basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate takes into account only the amount of calories that we use to survive, for example, while we breathe, or our organs, our digestion. And that's a base measure. If we multiply another variable, that is, for example, our total daily energy expenditure, that is an activity multiplier. That will be the amount of hours that we spend throughout the week adding movement. For example, the total amount of hours that you exercise, or if you do a daily job where it's intense, laborious job. So we use these measures together to come up with this number that is the total amount of calories that we consume in a day. So let's ask first ChatGPT, what is my basal metabolic rate? The basal metabolic rate is calculated by taking into consideration my weight in kilograms, my age, my sex or gender, and my height. So when I plug in these numbers here, so what I can come in is with the basic amount of calories that I need throughout the day. So as soon as I ask this question, I ask ChatGPT, so can you calculate my basal metabolic rate? The system goes right away and it explains to me that the BMR, you need to provide some information such as your age, gender, weight, and height. And I go on and I do so, and I put in my variables. I'm 5'11", 180 pounds, 40 years old, and male. So it goes on to calculate this information, but it does so by using a formula that is different. There's different formulas to calculate the basal metabolic rate. So there is the Harris-Benedict, that is one of the most common. There is the Mifflin-St. Jeor. That is the one that I use because it's supposed to be a little bit more accurate, at least by 10%. And then there is another one that is called Catch-McArdle. This one instead requires you to put in the body fat content, the percentage. However, that's a number that not all of us can come up with right away on top of our mind. So the system here gave me an amount of calories and it used the Harris-Benedict formula. However, let me ask the system, the AI, that I want to use the Mifflin-St. Jeor because I think it's more accurate. Okay, so I asked the system to give me the amount of calories here, my basal metabolic rate using the Mifflin-St. Jeor formula, and it came out with this number that is 1700 48.5. So according to my calculation, I came up with the number 1746.4. So we could say that it's fairly accurate. Then next, I'm gonna ask the system, what is my total energy expenditure? So what we have here, the total energy expenditure is going to evaluate this multiplier, for example, by having you, if you are sedentary, if you work out 1 or 3 hours per week, and then on and on and on until it says if you work out 6 out of 7 days per week, 1 hour a day, and that's going to affect your whole number. And now I'm going to tell ChatGPT that my activity multiplier is going to be 6 to 7 days per week. I asked ChatGPT what is my total daily energy expenditure, the total number of calories, and the AI came out with 3,017.79 calories per day. According to my calculation, it was 3,013 calories. So we're very close. So if I go here and ask the system, what if I want to add or lose muscle mass, or I want to add weight, for example. So I go here and the system gives me right away a sort of cookie cutter formula. So for example, it is estimated that if you add or take 500 calories from somebody's diet, they're gonna add or lose 1 pound of weight per week. They do so by estimating that 1 pound is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. So if you take or add 500 calories per day per 7 days is 3,500. I found this method to be very reductive because everybody has a different metabolism and works in a different way. And I recall when I competed in my 2 bodybuilding shows in a men's physique competition, when I started my journey, the nutritionist took off already 500 calories from my diet. And I really had a hard time because ultimately I lost a lot of muscle at the same time. So if I could suggest anyone, I would tell them to maybe start with a calorie deficit if you're losing weight of 200 calories and see where you're going to be, because this approach, it may be a slower way for you to lose weight and retain most of your muscle mass. For the last portions of this experiment, I entered a list of foods to ChatGPT, and I told the system I want to eat 2,500 calories per day. I want to eat 236 grams of protein, 313 grams of carbohydrates, and 71 grams of fats. So this is more a diet that is weighted more on the side of having the majority of the macronutrients toward protein, for example. And I have my list of foods here. Chicken, salmon, cod, eggs, egg whites, sweet potatoes, Greek yogurt, avocado, olive oil, broccoli, cauliflowers, green beans, lettuce, tomatoes, apple, banana, whey protein powder, almonds, peanut butter powder, honey, and avocado. So the system came here with a list, and I have to say I'm very impressed. And he has here 6 meals. They're all spread out throughout the day, and I'll show you screenshots of these. And what I can come up with though is that the calorie amount is slightly lower than the one that I anticipated. So my request was for 2,500 calories per day, and the system gave me 1877. So we're a little bit lower our expectation. When I point out to the system that the amount is lower, ChatGPT apologizes, and then it comes up with an implemented list of foods that I want to use. Can we use ChatGPT ultimately to tell us what to eat? In a way or another, the system scrapes out information throughout the internet and just adds it there for us. It just plainly lays out there. What can I say? I would not trust it 100%. I will still do my own research, as you should as well. So just remember to consult your physician or a nutritionist. But yes, it can give us a few pointers here and there. It can guide us. The system is still rudimentary, but I think it's a valuable assistant. I would not rely to it 100%, but it's a good starting point. And moving on, there will be new and different versions of AI systems, so it will make the process easier and easier to follow. Just remember, do your own research and double and triple check your information every single time. Nutrition is a core aspect of your daily living, and you really need to take care of yourself. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, share, and see you next time.